Well, it doesn't end just at this. Former Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar's reply to the Ministry of Defence on that explosive note has been accessed. Nirmala Sitharaman just made a reference of the same in the Parliament when she had accused the paper of omitting that response to the concerns that were raised by the Defence Ministry and the Defence Secretary. That particularly response of Manohar Parrikar is, and I quote, "It appears PMO and French President Office are monitoring the progress of the issue, which was an outcome of the summit meeting. Para 5 appears to have been an overreaction. Defence Secretary G. Mohan may resolve the matter in consultation with the Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister." All right, and that is the response there that Nirmala Sitharaman was referring to. She in fact hit out at the newspaper saying that the response of the then Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar has been deliberately omitted. Therefore, she called it motivated, but this explosive Rafale report has triggered a massive political row. You had Mr. Rahul Gandhi who hit out at the Prime Minister saying that there was interference by the Prime Minister's office that had undermined India's position and had undermined the Ministry of Defence, their negotiating position with France as well. Maushmi Singh joins us for more on this. And Maushmi, there you have it. The response of the Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar, who had replied to the concerns that had been raised by the Defence Secretary, and this is exactly why the Defence Minister was so furious. Nirmala Sitharaman accusing the Congress party of flogging a dead horse.
That's right, and you know, Nirmala Sitharaman categorically saying that the entire story is only a part of the conversation, and you have the response of the then Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar, who clearly said that this Para 5 was an overreaction and it needs to be sorted out. Now, how would Congress respond to that? We have Priyanka Chaturvedi, and I'll ask her. Congress is flogging a dead horse. That's what a furious Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is accusing you of.
I'm sorry, the entire nation is furious at this point in time, simply because you have a government in power which has worked only for a private limited company and has not worked in the interest of the nation. It has categorically been proved that they have undermined all processes, undermined the Indian negotiation team, undermined the entire Indian defence deal for their own benefit.
Let's just look at the documents that are available, and now the letter that Rahul Gandhi actually flashed during the presser. There is a further conversation to that where Manohar Parrikar is clearly stating the para that Rahul has read out as an overreaction. So don't you think that that was actually a bit of an outreach?
I'm sorry, are you trying to say the dissent note was an overreaction by the Ministry of Defence? I think that's a very unfortunate statement to come from the former Defence Minister.
No, the note, no, there is a note below that, right below the then Defence Secretary's note, that this is a bit of an overreaction as the PMO is in consultation with the French authorities.
No, again, I would just like to reiterate. The entire dissent note very categorically says that the Defence Ministry was kept in the dark. The negotiation team in the Defence Ministry was kept in the dark. The experts who were part of the negotiation committee were kept in the dark. And PMO was having a parallel conversation which they got to know after discussion with one of the French government officials. So clearly, how can it be an overreaction when you have totally undermined the mandated Ministry of Defence to negotiate India's defence deals and to ensure nation's interest above everything else? Sorry.
So Priyanka, I would just like to show you that there is a letter, and below this, just a part of the letter, the Congress has also shown, the Rahul Gandhi has also shown. Below this, the Raksha Mantri actually replying that it appears that the PMO and the French President Office were monitoring the progress of the entire matter, and it is an outcome of the summit meeting. Para 5 appears to be an overreaction. Defence Secretary may resolve this matter in consultation with the PR Secretary to the PM.
Again, I would reiterate.
So that's the Raksha Mantri then responding.
Raksha Mantri undermining, and simply because he finds out that the Prime Minister himself is taking active interest in changing the terms and conditions of the negotiation committee. Is the Raksha Mantri supposed to say that we disagree with the Prime Minister? Unfortunately, the truth is out there in this dissent note, which has come from defence experts who are part of the negotiation committee, which categorically states that the entire negotiation team was undermined, was compromised, and the defence deals, terms and conditions were changed without keeping...
Chaturvedi, then is the Congress accusing the BJP of lying to the Supreme Court as well? Because last year the government had told the Supreme Court that the Prime Minister's office was in no way involved in the negotiations.
Are you accusing the government of lying in the court?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's now a proven fact that the Supreme Court wasn't aware of this dissent note coming from Ministry of Defence. The Supreme Court wasn't aware of how CAG report was not presented to the Parliament.
Do you think that this is a misfire, Priyanka? Because there is a further conversation where the Defence Minister is saying that this is an overreaction. And it is not an afterthought. It is a conversation that is just for flowing. Do you think it's a misfire by Rahul Gandhi?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let me reiterate. This is the same Defence Minister who went on record, and all of the electronic media channels have it, who said he did not have information. It's on record for people of this country to realize that the Raksha Mantri was sitting in Goa while Anil Ambani was sitting with the Prime Minister and getting this deal signed. It is on record when Francois Hollande has gone on record to say that they were left with no option but to go with Reliance Defence. So I think it is totally undermining the truth that has come out and trying to, project a narrative which is incorrect and full of lies.
So the Defence Minister also says that Rahul Gandhi, one will have to then think is really whether he's acting in national interest or not.
I'm sorry, to date, Raksha Mantri herself has proven that she's the Raksha Mantri for the Prime Minister and this government and not the Raksha Mantri for the nation. The Prime Minister has proven that he has worked not for the national interest but for the interest and self-interest.
Can you also
of a
ask her
certain
that the Raksha Mantri today in Parliament said that inquiring about a deal does not mean interfering. It should not be construed as interfering in a deal.
The also saying that the Raksha Mantri in Parliament said inquiring about a deal does not necessarily mean that the PMO was interfering. You could inquire and take regular updates. That's what the Defence Minister
I'm
said.
sorry, the anchor needs to ask some tough questions to the government right now. This is not a first instance of PMO interfering. We have also seen how Ajit Doval, when a question was raised about the national sovereign guarantee, that was also bypassed and Ajit Doval let it be. So that was also a pertinent point. So this is not a first instance, and this has been repeatedly happening, and special interest was shown on Rafale, and we have seen how the entire terms and conditions were changed overnight to help a certain person.
So do you really think that the fury of the Raksha Mantri or the counter-attack by the government is actually an act of desperation?
Act of desperation and act of trying to cover up their entire set of lies. Like I said, Raksha Mantri is doing a huge disservice to the nation by speaking as a Raksha Mantri to the Prime Minister and this devious government rather than being the Raksha Mantri for the nation and its interests.
Then the question really arises, it is just about a bypass of the democratic procedure or the process in which the entire defence procurement happens, or is there a direct benefit to the Prime Minister in line of benefiting Anil Ambani?
The question should be, why were the processes bypassed? And why were the processes bypassed for this particular deal? Why was it that
will the Congress press for their JPC demand to investigate the deal, and what if their demand is not met?
16-20 crore rupee aircraft overnight. Why is it that transfer of technology was abandoned? Why was it that offset contract benefit was not given to a company which had a work-share agreement with Dassault and given to Reliance?
Keeps on giving you both are running in circles. Are you pressing for your JPC demand?
Absolutely, absolutely. This becomes absolutely imperative that a JPC needs to be constituted. Parliament is known as a temple of democracy, and let this temple decide who wronged the nation and whose interests were served at the cost of the nation's interests.
Do you really read a political advantage in minting the Rafale story? But does the Congress really believe that this is the Bofors of the BJP?
There was no Bofors. Those were allegations. Here you have facts. Supreme Court had outrightly rejected the entire Bofors and their so-called scam. This is a scam, the biggest scam in India's defence history. And this is something the Prime Minister needs to answer questions to.
All right, there Priyanka Chaturvedi, attack and counter attack flying high and thick and fast, even as the Rafale controversy is reverberating in the Parliament and party headquarters here in the Congress.
Absolutely. Maushmi, thanks for getting us that exclusive conversation from the Congress. The Congress far from satisfied with the response that now has been accessed. The response by the then Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar to the concerns that were raised by the Defence Ministry. Executive Editor Gaurav Sawant joins us. But Gaurav, the fact remains that there has been a reply to that concern and the anxiety that was expressed by the MOD. This is the Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar who did reply to it. He is, attempting to allay their concerns, thinking it perhaps could have been an overreaction. But this is a very explosive report that the Congress is now using to their own political benefit.
Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has hit out at what she's termed as half-truths being peddled, which is affecting the country's national security. These are Nirmala Sitharaman's counter-allegations at the Congress party and at the newspaper that printed that report. Because, the Ministry of Defence and sources in the Ministry of Defence have now given access to that full letter. So far, what we knew were half-truths according to the Ministry of Defence, where we only knew the Defence Secretary, then Defence Secretary's concerns.
Yes.
But now India Today has accessed then Raksha Mantri Manohar Parrikar's response to those concerns, where it says that it appears that the PMO and the French Presidential Office are monitoring the progress of the issue, which was an outcome of the summit meeting. Para 5 appears to be an overreaction. The Defence Secretary may resolve the issue matter in consultation with the Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister. So, the then Defence Secretary and many in the Defence Ministry also see this as turf wars. They are saying that if the then Defence Secretary had some concerns, the then Raksha Mantri responded to those concerns, and as Raksha Mantri Nirmala Sitharaman said in Parliament, that it was the same Raksha Mantri who then signed the dotted line for the deal to go through. There's another aspect to this. The negotiations were stuck. The negotiating committee that was taking this deal forward had got into a logjam. There wasn't any forward movement, and the bigger concern was that the Indian Air Force wasn't getting the aircraft that it so desperately required. And as Nirmala Sitharaman puts it, those aircraft will finally be coming to India in a couple of months from now. From September 2019, the first Rafales will be in India.
All right, Gaurav, I'm going to leave it at that.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.